Hey everyone, it's Jason. Today I'm going to do a content showing of the Disney Villainous game. Sorry, my cameras can't fit all the box in there. We'll flip it over for you. Came out, I think, last year. But I'm going to show off. I just got it the other day here. The expansion's coming out. The instructions are actually really nice. It really just explains how to go through the game. If you're not familiar with what this game is you take control of a villain, an iconic Disney villain, and then each player has their own villain, such as Ursula, Queen of Hearts, Prince John, Jafar, Captain Hook, or Maleficent. So each player gets one of these boards, and they play through their own quest. Each villain has their own quest. Maleficent needs to start with a curse at each location, whereas Jafar needs to start your turn with a magic lamp at the Sultan's palace under the genies under your control. And then something maybe a little bit simpler reading is just Prince John's is start with 20 power. So each player gets their own board. They play their own deck of villain cards, and then they also have a second deck of fate cards, which are like the heroes or the good guys or bad actions towards the villain, that their opponents can play against them. But the universes don't mix. So like I would never have Genie in the Queen of Hearts realm, or I would never have Robin Hood, he's only going to attack Prince John. He's never going to go after Captain Hook, or Peter Pan's not going to go after Maleficent, so on and so forth. But your goal is, so you're trying to each turn play cards to either advance your goal, or maybe you might play something, draw from one of your opponent's fate decks and or you're not necessarily your opponents, but your fellow evil villains, because you want to stop them, because you want your plans to succeed. So you can play a fate card to stop them. So all of these boards here, they open up and they have various locations. One thing that's awesome about this game is the artwork. It looks like it's right from the movies, but it's original artwork. So each spot here has two spots as a top and a bottom. These are different actions you can play. So if Hook is on this location during his turn, he can draw a card, defeat a hero, discard cards, or draw power. The little box here is because your opponents will put their hero cards, or your hero cards, on top of these spots, and that will stop you from being able to use these. So that gives you an incentive to try and stop their heroes, instead of just like, oh, whatever, they're playing cards, I'll just ignore them. Because every time they put one on here, it limits your actions. What's neat is every board is different. So even though they all have 4 spots, not all of them are all going to be the 4. Some of them might not have some of these different things. They might have different numbers. Some of them also have a lock icon, like the Hangman Tree. So when this game first starts off, Captain Hook can't access this area until he draws Neverland Map, which will allow him to open up and be able to use that. And he's vital to that because that's how he gets Peter Pan in there. That's how he defeats Peter Pan. So we got Maleficent. She's got Forbidden Mountains, Rose's Cottage, The Forest, and King Stephen's Castle. Prince John gets Sherwood Forest, Friar Tuck's Church, Nottingham, and the jail. His actually just kind of a unique one. He gets 3 on the bottom, which no other character has as of right now, but nothing in the top. He throws a hero in jail without any consequence to himself. So it's kind of a neat aspect. Jafar, the Sultan's Palace, Streets of Agrabah, Oasis, and the Cave of Wonders, which is a lock location. You have to get the sacred scarab to activate it, just like in the movie. Queen of Hearts is kind of an interesting objective. Hers is use a wicket, have a wicket at each location and successfully take a shot. She turns her card troops into wickets like she does in the movie. So, like, other ones are maybe like, defeat this character or become powerful. Hers is like, I want to play a game of croquet. There's a hedge maze, Cuddly Woods, and White Rabbit's House. And then each character has some different cards. Like, Queen of Heart has the ability to, like, turn cards sideways for wickets, shrinking and large cards, which I'll kind of go over when we go through the cards. Maleficent has curses. Nobody else currently has curses. So each character even has their own unique set of cards. Ursula's Lair, Eric's Ship, the Shore, and the Palace. So it's really interesting because you can play this game 6 different times as each of the different characters and have a fairly completely different gaming experience. What's also neat, each one comes with a little guide explaining to you just what you should be doing. So, like, when you're first starting off, you're like, oh, here's what I need to be doing for Ursula. Here's what my objective is. Oh, here's changing form. She can lock one of 2 locations depending on how she needs to go about. She gets the trident, which summons King Triton. That's what she needs to be doing. She has these binding contracts. Here's how those work. So it's kind of cool like that. Each one has their own little guide. I'm not going to sit on these for terribly long. Just it shows like she can turn her guards into wickets. What it means to take the shot, which is how she wins. What shrinking and enlarging heroes mean. So it's really beneficial. So you don't just have to hop in the game and be like, alright, I guess I have to figure out what I'm doing. Like, you can look over this at any time, or even just at the beginning of the game and be like, oh, I gotcha. So for me to do this is kind of what I need to be working towards. I sort of think the downside of the game might be is repeated gameplay. So here's Prince John. He's, like I mentioned, he's got the jail there. He's got wanted cards. Here it's showing that his special fate cards as heroes can actually take money from him because they're a band of thieves. But I think repeated gameplay could get, over time, like, oh, I've played Maleficent 5 times. Like, yeah, so each of the 6 characters will be different, but as you play as the same character repeatedly, like, a couple times, you might get bored with it just because that character is going to play the same every time. You're always going to have the same goal. Like, I would put this akin to, like, a regular, like, trading card type game where, or some other games where you usually have a goal of, like, either I win because I did this action, or I lose because my opponent did this action, or I failed to do this. Like, look at a trading card game. You can win by dragging your opponent's life down. Or, making them not have any cards in their deck, or maybe there's a special deck you can set up. Here it's like, my goal is this. Either I complete it, or I don't, but I also gotta do it before everybody else. So every time you're trying to do the exact same things. If you find a way that works well, you're probably going to keep doing that. These are little action cards they give to every player. Just reminds you what these symbols mean, so you don't have to keep looking up in the book. And then just a quick villain objectives. Some of them can only win at the start of their turn. Some of them can win as soon as they complete their objective. So it also makes the game a little bit differently because you can't be like, oh, well, I have one more turn before they can do that. Before we look into the cards, let's look at some of the stuff. Game comes with this little flimsy plastic cauldron, but it's still cool. It's where you put all your power chips in. Oh, so you got these big power chips. They're fairly decent size. You drop them in there, then everyone can draw from them. They have the locks, which are double-sided as well. And then they have one other thing, which is called a fate token. And what this is if you're playing more than 5 or 6. You're playing 5 or 6 people. You're getting everybody involved. It allows you to you play a fate on somebody else. They can pick that so they can't be targeted. That way, it doesn't seem unfair, like everyone's just targeting the same person. So we're going to look at the figures quick. These are actually pretty cool. This is Prince John. Each color matches kind of like their board and their card decks, so that way you can tell them quickly apart. But he also represents the character. He's got his crown, he's got a diamond, he's got some little things on his stomach. They're fairly big. Maleficent's green. Hers is, she's got her famous horn, she's got a dragon, and that kind of slopes down like her regular dress. So that's pretty cool, because it kind of looks like her, it looks like a dragon. Ursula, purple, makes sense. Tentacles at the bottom, flame at the top, big and bulbous. Captain Hook, he's got a fancy cape here. Plum hat. It would have been cooler, I guess, if they would have had an actual hook on here somewhere, but, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Jafar, he's got his visor hat, he looks like a snake. So that's pretty cool. And the last one is the Queen of Hearts. She's got her dress, she's got a heart, she's got a crown. I mean, they're not like super over detailed, but they're enough that while you're playing as them, you can easily tell by the color which one's yours. But you're on your own board anyhow, so that doesn't really make that big of a difference. All right, now we're gonna go through some of the cards. So what's awesome about this is on the back of the cards, the pictures themselves are pretty cool. So this is Jafar, it's black, it matches his cloaking, his boards, immediately this is his deck. Plus there's a really cool symbol, it has the lamp, the palace, the scarab, his scepter, a snake, a sultan's hat, it tries to incorporate everything that is Jafar. Then they also have, every character will have a white deck, which will have the same symbol. On the back, but the whites are the fake decks, so those are like the heroes. Alright, so we're gonna go through, I'm gonna probably go through Jafar quick, and then we might, we'll just kind of see where we go. So, I'm not gonna sit here and read and explain every card, but some of these cards are conditions. Conditions are basically, if another player playing the game, one of the other villains does something, you can play this on their turn to get something else. So, if during their turn another player has 3 or more allies in their realm, allies are like your good guys, your teammates, your bad guy teammates, I guess, you may play Manipulation. Choose any card from your discard pile and put it in your hand. So basically, if another player is doing really well, they have a bunch of characters out, you can play this to get an extra card to help your advantage. So far, I think all characters have 2 conditions. His other one's Deception. If during their turn another player has 2 or more items in their realm, you may play Deception. Reveal and play the top card of that player's fate deck. So this is more like they have some items in there. You're like, ha, forget you, and then you attack them, basically. They have effect cards. These are just one time. So you choose as an item or ally, reveal the top card of your deck, reveal it. To the chosen type, put that card in your hand, discard the rest. So just to pick a card out. Helps him, Jafar. He wants to find specific things. He's not caring about what this person's doing, what that person's doing. He's straight-minded. He's like, where's my lamp? I want my power. So he's got Sorcerer's Power. Here's an ally. So up in the top corner, they have allies. So during the game, on your board, you place your cards down. There's some actions you can do that allow you to place cards, some that allow you to move cards. You can move your allies left and right. Your villain can move to any space, but allies or heroes have to move 1 space at a time. So your placement of them does make it important, but you don't have to place them on the spot your character's at. This isn't a how-to video. You read the book, or maybe I'll do a how-to later on. You also have strength. You have to have 3 strength just so you can attack a hero and defeat him. It's Giant Hourglass. This is an example of an item. Items will attach to characters if a character ends up in that area. This one here has an ability on it, so lets you play this to do this effect. And like all the cards, they're straight from the movie. You start watching, you're like, oh my gosh, I want to watch the movie. A snake, am I? Lets you defeat a character or a hero easily. They got like Scimitar, gives ally strength. He's got a Palace Guard. There's no extra abilities, but he's cheap. Pick your fire once. He has a snake staff, which you can pay 1 power. To activate this, you can hypnotize a card. Hypnotizing is one of the effects you need to do. That's hypnotize. Find one of the other ones we haven't went through. There's a lot of duplicates, but there has to be. We got Scarab Penguin. This is what you need to open up the Cave of Wonders and get the magic lamp out. We got good old Dazeem. How could anyone forget Iago? Iago has the ability to move items around quicker. Just basically, he can like, ooh, we need the lamp. He can fly over to a different location, get the lamp, so that Jafar doesn't have to spend an extra action turn doing it. So each character's also fit their thing. These are the ally card, or the fate cards. So these are things other players would play against you. So you get like Narrow Escape, which lets you bring back a hero. You get a Boo, who lets you put an item on him. Jafar can't touch that item unless he defeats a Boo. Aladdin has the same effect. This is basically like they can take the lamp, and then Jafar has to defeat them to get them. Like for other games, they can just like steal and move stuff around. You get Raja, Crushing Blow. There's Iago who got smacked. Wish. And then not all cards have equal number of items or heroes. Some have more items, some have more heroes. That's again what makes it interesting. They didn't stick to a formula being like every villain has X number of this, X number of that. It's really tailored to the movie and how it's gonna affect that character. So you got Genie there, it's pretty powerful. You got Jasmine, gets to get extra cards. The Sultan, who can't be attacked by the Palace Guards, which makes sense. And then he has Treachery. So that was Jafar's deck. Alright, I'm going to pause this. We're going to come back, we'll do part 2, and we'll finish up the other 5 decks, just so that, if you want to see both parts, you don't have to watch a 40-minute video right away. See ya, bye.